for tuning in. I am Justice LaRue, and this is SableCast, where we highlight minority-owned businesses and non-for-profits across the nation, bridging the gap between business and lifestyle using education, financial literacy, health, and wellness. I love to discuss unique experiences in building black businesses. So if you do have a black business or not for profit, make sure that you reach out to us. All right. So today we have Rance John. He is the owner and founder of Rance John Styles and Barbering. All right. So thank you for coming in. Thank you for sitting down and talking with us. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm doing good.
All right.
Thanks
That's
for
good to
having me.
hear. Can you tell us a little bit about who Rance John is?
Okay. Well, I've been in the business for over 20 years, 25 years actually.
Okay.
Educator, award-winning groomer,
Okay.
developer of a product line as well. So, a lot of things I got going on. I'm also huge and big and giving back. Family man first. Let me say that. Family man first. God-fearing. Just a lover of people.
Okay.
That's who I am.
All right. So can you tell us a little bit about Rance John before the brand came? Who are you?
Okay. Before the brand, I was a guy that was trying to figure it all out. I knew I wanted to be in business. What direction I wanted to go in business. I didn't really have a good, clear, concise idea in which lane I wanted to go in. I had just like anybody, just like any entrepreneur that's starting out, there's a bunch of ideas, and just trying to figure out how to hone it and make it make sense. Very few mentors, didn't have a lot of mentors, but I had to figure out ways to be creative in gaining mentors so that I could kind of somewhat streamline and learn some things that I needed to learn. And so people actually became mentors of mine without even knowing, and so they found out later that they became my mentors. But that's kind of somewhat how I just kind of figured out what direction I wanted to go in and started to develop who Rance John really was after.
Okay. So was it through your mentors that you started going into the barber and styling field, or where did that come from?
That came from a gentleman by the name of Lee Moss.
Okay.
Lee Moss is a older guy out of Webster Groves, Missouri. He's a retired barber. He's had a staple shop in that area. I used to go to Webster Groves High School,
Okay.
and so he did a career day at Webster Groves High School. And so that's where I somewhat kind of picked up on the trade. And when he came and talked about the field, talked about all the things that he was doing in the community, how he was able to provide for his family. I didn't know barbers could make this type of money, once I figured out a few different things and decided, I wanted to be in business for myself, and I just kind of liked the craft itself. I just kind of fell in love with it. He let me do an apprenticeship at his place while I was still in high school.
Okay.
So that worked out good for me, just to kind of get my feet wet, learn a little bit about the business, and I just kind of went from there.
Okay. So once you got into the field, you were you were under Lee Moss. When did you want to step into the field of having your own brick and mortar?
I think that was always a desire. So I think for any young barber, they always want to have their own. Well, I don't say always, but the majority of them, they want their own. I think just trying to figure out how to get to that space and creating your own lane, that's something totally different. So for me, I started off pretty early. So I was fortunate enough to be able to open up my first space at 23. I opened up in what's considered the old Cherokee back then. So the old Cherokee Street, I had the barbershop that was on the corner of Jefferson and Cherokee. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that big Indian that was on Cherokee. They removed it now, but it used to be a big Indian on the corner of Jefferson and Cherokee. You familiar with that?
I'm not.
You're not? Okay. Well, yeah, I was right on the corner. And so, like I said, I started off at 23 is when I opened up. I purchased that property at 24, It was 3 commercial spaces, residential up top. So I opened up a salon next door. So I was rolling. I was moving at a young age.
Okay. All right. So, how did it feel to be able to purchase a property? Most people have to rent.
I didn't know what I was doing. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I didn't know what I was doing. And like I said, I didn't really have a lot of, growing up. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of people that I could kind of look to for certain things that were doing big things in my family. In my immediate family, with my mom's, it was a single parent household, so I wasn't exposed to certain things. So when certain things, they just kind of fell in my lap.
Okay.
I put it like that. It was kind of somewhat of a God's blessing. It just certain things just kind of fell in my lap. The landlord of the property, he just really took to me, and God just gave me favor with the guy. And when it came time for him to sell, he wanted to sell it to me, and so that's how that worked out. And it was just one of those things that just kind of worked in my favor. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just walking into. Actually, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Actually, when we even went to go get the loan for the property, and this is my first big purchase. He walked, and this is a key nugget for certain people. There is certain things and won't happen based upon what you know, but who you know. And so for that particular deal, it taught me a lesson in who I knew at that time. And it was a situation where we walked in, and the lady looked at him and was like, "Is he gonna pay?" I promise you. And he looked at her and said, "Yeah, he'll pay." And we signed the paperwork, and that was it.
Okay.
It was that simple.
Man.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Okay, so you got your brick and mortar now. You're starting your business. How is it building that business, building the brand, hiring on the people that you have to represent your company?
Okay. Well, I had a lot of trial and error, so that particular place I lost,
Okay.
so you bump your head a lot, so it was one of those things where this was my schooling before I actually did go to school. So that was my schooling. It was hands on, I just had to learn. I had to learn by trial and error, relationship building, being a man of integrity, more importantly.
Exactly.
So even when I didn't do things right, just owning it. And I think that the people that worked for me over the years, they can respect that more than anything. People that have worked for me, I am proud to say that the majority of them, they're successful in what they do now. And they can always come back to me, and we have conversations. I just had a guy not too long ago reached out to me, and he was like, "Man, and it makes me feel good because it lets me know, okay, I was doing something right." And he reached back out. He's in Atlanta now, and he's in the field, but he's more so doing freelance work. And he was like, "Man, I just want to let you know I appreciate you, man." And he's one of the guys that started with me in the early days. And he was like, even if I come back home, he was like, "I know I got a place I could come to," or whatever the case may be. But as far as developing a team and all of that is just being a man of integrity and being clear with your vision.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So after you left the last location, tell us a little bit about moving into your new location, experiences through that.
Moving into my new location is I actually worked at a few different spaces in between.
Okay.
When I closed my first down, or when I lost my first, and so that was an experience even within itself. So they brought me back to the drawing board when I really wanted to just go in and go hard at what it is that I really wanted to do. So I had to reinvent myself, and so even in reinventing myself, I was like, what is it that in my industry and in my field that they aren't doing in my city? And so I wanted to think outside the box and start doing things that they weren't doing. you know, and so I wanted to take it up a notch. So in our field, it has made a huge transition, and I was able to watch a part of that transition and be a part of that transition as far as bringing professionalism back to the business of barbering. You know, I take pride in saying that I'm instrumental in adding to that piece. I'm not the only one, but I am instrumental in that.
Right.
You know, and so it gave me time to just reevaluate myself, and look at some things within myself and say, these are a few things you need to change personally too. You know, and elevate my mindset and how I view different things. If I wanted to make more money, then there were certain things that I needed to change personally. And so I realized that, and I began to make those changes. And I, like I said, just stepped back, wrote out my plan, and just executed. It didn't make sense to a lot of people at first. As a matter of fact, I lost some clientele, but even in losing some clientele and losing some staff, I gained the right ones, because the right ones, they saw the vision and they saw exactly where I was going. And even the right clientele, they appreciated what it was that I wanted to offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were some of those things? What were the changes that makes you different?
Okay. So in those beginner stages, one thing I wanted to do was, I was like, okay, well, I can't survive and I can't provide for a family charge. And this is some years ago. So I can't provide for my family and sustain by doing $25 haircuts. That's not gonna work. Okay. $10, $15, $20, $25 haircut. That wasn't gonna work for me.
Right.
You know, I was traveling and I was going out of state. I started attending shows, all right, and I started making friends with other guys in other cities, and I was looking at what they were doing, and I'm like, man, wait a minute, man, you able to get what? Okay, hold on, wait a minute. I mean, I know everybody at home ain't broke, so I mean, it's a few things I need to change, you know. So, what it was, I started to really hone in on my craft, and I started to perfect my craft more. I started learning new techniques. On the business side, I started learning other things I needed to do business-wise. I started offering more services that were more than barbering. You know, adding facials, you know, with skin extractions and different things like that. You know, and it just kind of helped set me apart. Even changing the atmosphere of, you know, when, you know, you come into my place of business. It's not just normal. You know, when you come in, you're like, oh, okay, this is slightly different. This is nice.
Right.
You know, just making them feel a little bit more welcome and just letting them know, hey, we are stepping it up. You know, and so when I was able to do those things, it made sense for me to be able to charge what I wanted to charge. You know, and being timely. You know, not being late, stop drinking, all of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had to cut out and weed out a lot. You know, just for my personal disciplines. You know, and you know, being disciplined helps bring in the bag.
Okay. All right. So you spoke about facials. You spoke about the different services that you started bringing to make yourself different. You have a product or a product line called the Classic Man.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. That's a product that started in my kitchen.
Okay.
So to those who want to start a product line, don't be discouraged. Don't feel like you have to start off with the big manufacturers or anything like that. When you want to do something, just start doing it. I'm gonna say that. All right. So I started off in my kitchen with a mixing bowl. I got on the internet and I just started looking up different ingredients as far as like what I wanted my products to do. And I just became a kitchen chemist.
Okay.
The legal way. You know what I'm saying? And start bottling it up, got some labels, and I started there first. You know, and it was working. It was selling. You know, and I started working for a company by the name of Design Essentials. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I am, actually.
All right. So Mr. McBride, he's the owner of Design Essentials. It's based out of Atlanta. And I started doing platform work for them.
Okay.
So By the way, Design Essentials is mostly a predominantly women's hair care line. Well, it is a women's hair care line. And I was the only and first barber to work for Design Essentials.
Okay.
And they would send me all across the country to do platform work, explain how to use their products in the barbering field, but it was certain things that I would have to do to manipulate the product to make it do certain things that I wanted it to do. So I would create cocktails with their products. And so I was looking at it from at that particular time, it wasn't a lot of men's grooming product lines. And that was just 4 years ago. So it's amazing how things can change drastically that fast. And so a guy that I was working with at Design, he stopped working for Design, and he was in town, and I was like, man, listen, man, I want to talk to you about something. He was over me with Design. I would answer to him, and we had a conversation about it. I let him know what my vision was, and he just bought into it. And it was certain things that he can bring to the table that I couldn't bring to the table. And we worked well together. His name is Terry Armstrong, and we became good business partners, and we partnered in together, and that was the birth of TCL, So he kind of helped get behind it and he got in his car with me, and we've been driving it ever since. Now we have a full product line where we have over 15 different products.
Okay.
And we're on the Amazon platform. We're on Walmart's platform.
I saw that.
Yeah. Even with our own site, we've been getting some good traction with our own site. We're looking to get a little bit more shelf life. That will be coming soon. I can't make the announcement where just yet.
Okay.
But we will have some shelf life soon. So I'm very excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we're rolling with it. And so, yeah.
Can you get a little bit more into detail on how you feel about that, about seeing something that started in your kitchen now on nationwide shelves?
Well, it's not yet.
Well, not sure, but at least online.
Online.
I think being on Walmart's online.
Yeah, that's major.
Page is real major.
Yeah, that's exciting. To be honest, it's humbling. When you start seeing things like that, it begins to humble you. Now, it really won't humble me until I really, really start seeing the bag come in from it. That part ain't came in just yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm being honest with you. You know what I mean? I don't want people to get the I'm not saying I'm not making a profit. I am. But at the same time, it's not what certain people they might think. Like, it's not there yet. Yet.
Right. Speak into existence.
But at the same time, it's very humbling, just to see, the hard work that you're putting in paying off, and so the fact that we're getting some really good feedback is amazing to me, so it's a humbling experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is there, and I don't know if this is something that you can speak on, is there a procedure or a way to get products online, like an entrepreneur that is in your position where you were a few years back, and they have a product line or they want to be where you are? What do they need to do to
get those spaces?
Yeah.
One thing you have to do is it's fairly simple. It's not as hard as what a lot of people think.
Okay.
You just really have to find out who the buyer is. They have online buyers as well as physical store buyers. So the purchasers and the buyers for those spaces, you have to really develop relationships and sell yourselves to them.
Okay.
And just really get in their face. That's one of the key things. Also, your as far as your branding, marketing, from what you do from where you are, has to be pretty clean and noticeable and competitive enough where they're paying attention, where they start to pay attention, or even if you put it in their face, they could take notice. They won't take their eyes off of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have the Classic Man. You said you have 15 products.
Yeah, over.
So you do have a website. It's tcmlifestyle.com.
Correct.
and some of the services along with your product. You have, I seen a video of you restoring a gentleman's hairline.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little about that?
All right. Well, I do what's considered the popular term that kind of somewhat got popular was called man weave.
Okay.
Yeah, they call it the man weave, but that's the hashtag term. But I offer that service, and so it that's a service that's kind of gotten popular within the last few years or what have you. Restoring hairlines, that's a little bit more simpler than the quote unquote man weave process. It's just really filling in the hairline where it's thin and the hairline area, and you're just basically taking some hair and just placing it in those areas. Using a little bit of hair bonding glue. It sounds it's a lot easier than what people think. It's not difficult. It's just really just learning the technique. It's like anything, just learning the technique. But those services can actually change, your income drastically. Those services range from anywhere. Let's just to give you an example, a hairline restoration service, I can do within an hour, and that's $150.
Okay.
For a hairline restoration service. So let's just say a hair unit, which is what they call the man weave. You can do that within an hour and a half, and that service goes for about $450. So you can really increase what your profit margin is doing those services.
Okay.
So I encourage a lot of barbers, just if you don't know how to do it, take classes. Do some one-on-one classes. You can make a lot more money in this industry than what people think. Yeah.
So those classes, is that in the barber schools?
Oh no.
No?
No. Those are classes that you would take. Those are separate classes that you would take just for just extended classes as far as
Gotcha.
like learning, gaining expert knowledge.
Okay.
So in barber school they just teach you the basics just so
Gotcha.
that you can actually get your license.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on this actual service? Your personal thoughts?
I think it's much needed. I mean, you have guys that want to look good and feel good about themselves, and I think that we have to remove the taboo in terms of making men feel bad about wanting to feel good about themselves as well.
Exactly.
All men, I'm comfortable with rocking a bald head, but most guys, they don't want to rock one. It's just like to say like, a woman losing her hair. We don't knock or dog a woman for wanting to add her hair to her head if she's losing her hair or if she just want to look good. I would say probably 75 to 80% of the sisters, they add hair to their heads anyway. So it's no big deal. But for a man to do it, it's one of those things where they get picked apart.
Right.
And we got to change that. And it's I think it's done now very tastefully. It doesn't look bad. And you can get away with it now where it's probably unnoticeable. You probably seen guys you didn't even know that they had it.
I actually have a friend that got it. I saw some pictures, and he had a whole head of hair, and I was like, you've been bald for a few years. So, but he was helping out a friend that he was a model for someone that was practicing. And if I didn't, it looked natural.
Okay, all right.
So if I didn't know that he was bald, I wouldn't have been able to know.
Yeah.
But
his walk was different too, wasn't it?
It was. It really was. He had more likes on the picture.
It's
everything.
restored confidence. You see what I'm saying?
But I do know a lot of people, a lot of men who do get that service is usually going through some health issue or what they call alopecia. Do you, when you have your clients come in that have services like that, is there anything do you have something for them to have more privacy?
Yeah, I do. So what I normally do is I usually schedule those particular services probably like early in the morning
Okay.
before my staff comes in, or I do it on my off days.
Okay.
You know, when no one's there around, so just to give them some privacy. You know, so I don't like doing it out in the open. First of all, because I paid to learn how to do it,
Gotcha.
and so I don't want anyone just even if they do work for me, they know it. You got to pay. I teach you, but you got to pay. You know, I paid to learn how to do this. You do too. You know what I'm saying? And it's not being jerk. It's just, you know, it's just business.
Right.
You know, so yeah, so you know, I give them their privacy most definitely. They deserve their privacy because of what they're paying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's good to hear. You have a lot of services. You have some great products that's online, and you are very in tune with health within the community. Speaking of the community, I do see that you do free cuts
Yes.
on certain occasions. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have this thing. We haven't done it. We will be picking back up on it start next year.
Okay.
Actually, over the summertime, we will be picking back up. But COVID slowed things down for everyone. But one of the things that we do is it's called a high school haircut tour.
Okay.
The high school haircut tour is we visit 3 high schools in a 3-month time period back to back. And what we do is we offer free services to the students for those who are in need, for the students who have good GPAs, and just for whoever the staff choose to pick. But for those 2 reasons right there. And that's been a success. We've partnered in with some of your local schools from the Vashons on over to the VAPs, and you name it. We also do the Rance John Back to School Cuts for Kids. We've been doing that for some years now. We partnered in with Cherokee Recreational Center.
Okay.
We would do that every year. We didn't do it the last 2 years, of course. And that's been going on for some years now. We've been doing it like the past 7 years. And so we've had great sponsors from Worldwide Technology on over to BJC, St. Louis Fire Department. So these are all the Grace Hill. These are all people that have partnered in with us to help us be a success with that. We also do something called cutting out homelessness. It's kind of a play on words.
Okay.
That's one thing that I was really excited about, and that's where we cut some of our local homeless individuals' hair, make them feel good about themselves. We offer them products, give them care packages. Even the women, you know, they might not get services, but we still give them care packages as well. We make sure that they have plenty of socks. That's one thing that I did learn was that the homeless they really need a lot of socks. You know, I didn't know that, but we found that out, and so we make sure that they have a lot of socks. You know, good hygiene products and things like that. So yeah, that's some of the things that we do.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about how your experiences on working with the different companies and being able to give back to the community?
Okay. Well, my experience there, when they do offer their support, it's more so they want to support what I have going on.
Okay.
So they may send someone down from their team every once in a while. And it's just really more so they might offer services like health screenings or, you know, let me see, what did the fire department do? They just kind of worked with the kids. You know, they just really somewhat just kind of help and assist, if, you know, with whatever we have going on. Worldwide Technology, they donated some books for Mr. Dave Stewart. He donated some of his books. He signed some of them and donated some of his books.
Okay.
As well as, you know, he helped supply some of the school supplies as well. If you guys don't know who he is, you guys need to get in tune. Great man. Black billionaire in the city of St. Louis, by the way. So those are some of the things that they have, you know, helped us out with. And that's how they help assist.
Okay. All right. So if someone was interested in getting your product or getting in contact with you, do you have Any contact information you would like to put out?
All of my handles are the same,
Okay.
Rance John, across every platform. That's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, TikTok. Everything is Rance John.
Okay.
Also, everything is TCM Lifestyle on every platform. And so you can catch us just like that. Now, as far as the websites are concerned, it's tcmlifestyle.com. And you can purchase our products directly from our website. We prefer you check it, purchase from our website. But if need be, you can go to Walmart or you can go to Amazon, as well as if you want to book my services, it's rancejohnstyles.com. Yeah,
And you're located on the south side of St. Louis at 2901 South Jefferson.
correct.
Now, do you have appointment only or do you have walk-ins as well?
Appointment only.
Okay.
Appointment only. Yes, appointment only. Yeah.
All right. So make sure that you go check out Rance John. Once again, his website is rancejohnstyles.com. Also, if you are interested in his products, go to tcmlifestyle.com to go check them out. So once again, is there anything else that you wanted to speak on? We spoke about your products. We talked about your services, of the classic man lifestyle. All right. Is there anything else that the listeners need to hear about Rance John?
I think we wrapped it up. You touched on a lot of different things. You had some good questions.
Now, I did want to say that you said that you were. Are you from? You're not. Are you a local?
Yeah, but I'm originally from Chicago.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
south side of Chicago.
And
Yeah.
when did you come to St. Louis?
That was my early part of my childhood. So I was back and forth between St. Louis and Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about moving or
Yes, I am. So I will be
starting another
relocating.
location?
Yeah, I will be relocating in, I want to say maybe about 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
I will be relocating. Yeah, but that's to be announced.
Okay.
But I will be relocating though.
Okay.
But
Is it still gonna be?
St. Louis is always going to be my staple.
Gotcha.
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, definitely when you do relocate, that's something that we want to know how to pick up a brand and take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know that it's already hard enough to try to build a brand, but to move it, and then you have a brand that is very very well known, and the classic man is a very it speaks you, it really does.
Appreciate that.
So I really just want to thank you for coming and speaking with us. Once again, this is SableCast. I am Justice LaRue. If you're just now tuning in, you have missed a great interview with the owner and founder of Rance John Styles Barber here on SableCast, where we highlight minority-owned businesses and non-for-profits across the nation, bridging the gap between business and lifestyle using education, financial literacy, health, and wellness. Once again, if you want to be a candidate here on SableCast, make sure that you reach out to us. We are at The Real SableCast on all platforms. Make sure you come check us out, follow us, and stay tuned. Once again, I am Justice LaRue, and this is SableCast.